here.
Yeah, well, the windows are, and the doors open. That's what. So did we get, did we get
Yeah, do you make
Hi there. Hi, honey. No, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been a long time for my flying because now I'm at San Antonio's airport and it's evening time and I'm going to be flying over to Sacramento. I love the stuff that they're making me do for this job, Bruno. Well, I wanted to be able, I love you too, honey. I wanted to be able to give a call because it was going to get late, but earlier when I get to California. I wanted to be able to give a call to say goodnight to little Davy. Yeah, how's he doing? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, honey. Hi, Davy. How are you? I know. I wish I could be there with you too, cutie pie. I know. Well, I know it's your bedtime and you were thinking you wanted... Well, you know your daddy could read your stories too, you know. Something Dr. Susie. You know, you think I'm going to know these things, but wait, you know, you recently went to the zoo. How about going to Mulberry Zoo? Because if you want something that's interesting, special, then go to the Mulberry Zoo. Because then you'll see the Goffs, the Treps and the Slavs, the Glems and the Glemistats too. Pass by the cages, see the Grems and their rages for 80-pound food packs, a few. See the exhibits for mobs that say ribbit, and they're always searching for something to do. Yeah, if you want something that's interesting, special, then go to the Mulberry Zoo. For if you eat globbles and like to see travels, this is the place for you. Yeah, no, you have to look to see if Daddy, I'm sure Daddy will read to you more Dr. Seuss stuff, but I'm not going to remember it all, honey. No. Yeah, I know the Kuyper name for astronomy. Yes. All right, how about if we go on a space journey? How about that? Climb on aboard the Saturn Express, a breathtaking ride for seeing the best over the rainbow, seeing great stars, waving at Mercury, passing by Mars. The asteroid belt carries great things, but they'll never compete with Saturn's rings. Comets and meteors are what we see now, and they're truly beautiful, but we'll have to turn around. Yeah, we have to get back, yeah. Put on your glasses. We're nearing the sun. Look at the sunspots. You know, there are more than one. But we have to come back to Earth now. Our journey is actually complete. So tell all your friends of this wonderful feat. Oh, how are you holding up, honey? I know. I know. And when I get back, we can go fishing. Yes, the whole family can. You're absolutely right. Oh, you want the worms piece. All right. The worm is like a tube of cream, and it breaks itself in half, and it grows into another worm as it slithers down the path. The worm has a water skeleton. That's why it's so easy to break. It can be short or fat or long or thin. And no, even a part of it is called a worm steak. The worms eat mostly vegetables, and some people use them for wishing. But the best thing to do is rent a boat or two and take them out and go fishing. Which we'll do, honey. But Angel, you're going to have to go to bed, darling. I know, Davy. I love you too. Did you get the phone to Daddy? Okay. Thank you. Hi, honey. Yeah, I didn't have to do Under the Sea for him. I hope he goes to bed. You have a great night too. I'll have a good flight. Thank you. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. You guys listening to me? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cabaret Gallery. Hello. Like, what do I put a jacket on for to sound like I'm on a business trip? This is killing me. I have to be so warm.
You have another family that you're talking to and they don't know where you are?
No, because I happened to know. I was calling them because I was just going from my flight because I was on a business trip to San Antonio and I was about to go to Sacramento. But I wanted to call so I could say bedtime stories to my little boy. Davey. Because we even have a phenomenal feature tonight, Mr. Dave Gecic. Come on, give it up for Dave.
Ryan, the wrong place. I thought we were on Mulberry Street.
We're going to it's the Mulberry Zoo or something crazy like that. Yeah, I know, but you know, trying to look for things that are fun and something, I don't know. I won't tell you details about Dave Gecic because you'll get to hear them all later. The person, actually I should bring this man his phone because I was asking to borrow your phone for my little thing. Here you go, sir. Hi, camera, whatever's there. Because, and I might as well say a few things about the open mic we got. There we go. Hi, O'Tell now. We have an open night this evening, but we happen to also have a special event bonus feature. I can't believe this. I got 2 bonus weeks in October. If anybody has nothing going on, or at least nothing going on early on, come by here from 6:30 to 8:30 because we've got a bonus open mic next week on October 31st, All Hallows Eve. If you go into the women's room, you can even see a flyer for a musician that's going to be our feature for the evening, Cousin Bones, Wes Hines. So it'd be awesome to see anybody to hear for that.
So a bonus feature for Cousin Bones.
Cousin Bones is our feature next week for a bonus.
Bones.
For Cousin Bones is our bonus.
Oh,
Yay!
very good.
Oh my gosh, it's like I feel like I've actually pulled off having 2 bonus features in a month, but you know, if I do these things,
Well, I like
you know,
that. Make me know that, honey.
weekly to begin with anyway, so. Hi there. You looking for a sign-up sheet?
Yeah.
I got your name for it if you're all right. You don't have to worry about it. I'll get you down for it. But I have to actually think of who I've got here because we've got people, and I'm glad you're feeling better. I saw a thing that said you might not be able to make it, so I'm glad you're here. Sorry.
Yeah, I was feeling like crap yesterday.
It's hard to see with lights because I have the spotlight, but it's very good to see you here. But I wanted to be able to say that I'm going to actually start with somebody who doesn't usually read poetry, but as we were driving down, I was driving down with Mr. John Yatko, he said something to me talking about the elections. And I stopped him in his tracks and I said, I don't know if I necessarily agree with you, what you said, but that was a beautiful thing that you just said. And I just wrote it down. He's like, well, it's mine. Copyright 2012, John Yatko. So I'm like, all right. He's like, I might read it tonight, but what kind of title should it have? And I happen to see this thing in the reader, and I think this is actually a perfect title for your piece. Still hoping for change. So please give it up for this poem, instant poem from Mr. John Yatko.
Yeah, she's right. This came out of my mouth today on the way down here, and not necessarily that I believe it, because I think I fit into this category. Third-party votes are like people screaming at telephone poles, hoping their voice will carry over the wire to somebody who gives a shit.
Thank you. I don't even have my little list, but he's got his little camera. I'm like, he gets to record himself. Maybe you'll put that up on Facebook, Mr. Man. I don't have my list, but I believe who I know came here first, so I'm going to call my darling, whom actually, other than the bonus feature next week, is our feature in 2 weeks. So please give it up for Mr. Patrick Hurley. Come on up here. He's watching video.
Hello, it's good to see you.
First, there's waking up, realization of the new day, beauty or tragedy, not knowing. The sun is not shining yet. There is a bird on the ledge. First, there is coffee and more coffee with a chocolate chip scone. There is fog on the road this morning, more construction, always more construction. First, there is hearing sounds, indistinguishable sounds, then a brightness, then the outline of a face, or shoulder, or hip. It is raining on the road today. Windshield wipers are so inadequate. All is good if everyone keeps in their lane. Just keep in your lane until the rain subsides. First, there is a smile, with sleepy eyes above hair shielding cheeks from sun, then the sensation of touch. Fingertips soft on warm skin. Then there is holding, tight, tight enough to remain through the day. Then there are the cries of realization, weaning, anxiety. Letting go is part of love. First, there is coffee, with a blueberry scone and stoplights, stop signs, brake lights, heavy traffic, rushing, rushing, always rushing. The rain has stopped. There's a mist on the highway this morning. Toll booths, correct change, and exit ramps. First, there is the scent of hair, followed by the scent of skin. There are legs entwined, palm flat on the small of the back. There is pulling closer, and pulling closer still. Readjusting bodies while readjusting lives. First, there is waking up. Memo in the questioning. I'll come home someday. This passion pulls. I am weak from sorrow. This passion steals. I am exhausted from breathing. No, mother, do not weep. I'm a good boy now. I know that love you once told me about. Your face was pale. They put blood into your arm. You smiled to touch my face. I understood then that I would understand now. It is all I really understand. It is all I really know to be true. I tried to run away, but I only ran closer. Your hand was cold. No one likes sadness. That's why you smiled. It put blood into your arm. The sun was shining through your window. It made an iridescent glow around you. Many people were sad, but you smiled. Memo in the questioning. Only joy remains after sorrow. For Nadia. Your eyes, looking into mine, I tickle your tummy and kiss your feet. Smiles deeper than any ocean pull joy out of my dark shadows, sparking a light within the void that holds the ankles of my soul down. And you, face aglow with the mystery of life and the energy of discovery, giggling at the raw simplicity of peekaboo. Soon, this world will dull the shine, rob the light. Hold that ember tight, warm your spirit against the cold to come. We celebrate and welcome you.
Thank you, my darling.
Sign up sheet.
Well, I will hand it unto you as soon as I see whatever name I'm supposed to be calling up right now.
Young, sweet lady, my darling. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm being all goofy because I've got a first-time reader here today and they like being goofy. So I want everybody to scream, double plus scream and applaud like you wouldn't believe it for Adam. Adam, get out of here!
Probably the most applause I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
This one's for the Outsider Poets. It's called We Are the Bleeding Body. Having wrung the necks of the mockingbirds, we are not what they wanted to see or hear. A stone hits the water, and we ripple out to the shores, the sands, in search of ears and beckoning hands. Because it was us who killed the mockingbirds, but it was our red that was spilled, though, with the price that comes with killing beauty. The bells rang from corner churches in mourning. We watched from lonely front stoops as they paraded down the street. It is irony, though. We are the ones left bleeding out in the city's jungles and rural landscapes. We are the bleeding body. We are the shame. And no, they will not dare step to us, because we are the ones who killed the mockingbirds. Because we dream, we hope, we vanish. But what I like is that we never rust. We never fade away. This one's called As the City Sleeps.
A symphony of battered dreams purrs beyond the roaming lights. The motion in the silent streets is but a flicker of a burning wick in wax, is but a moment where the feet syncopate on cracked concrete, dispersing into the crossed shadows, the burning loneliness of a cityscape, as our hearts elope to the vast countryside, our home. This is a more bitter one. It's called A Note Slipped Under Heaven's Door.
She liked it around.
Like a dinghy tethered to a decaying dock on a great bay awaiting a summer storm, we rocked back and forth under a gray bed of low-lying clouds, praying our perceptiveness would create some sort of great turnaround. But when did things ever turn around? Shot out of the barrel and storming through the decades like starved dogs stuck on the barren outskirts of the rat race, we bled tears, we shed blood. We compromised our futures, yet never gave up on our deaths. I picked up the instruments, you the pen, then I the pen and the keyboard, but never did things turn around. It's a straight shot to death while we wait in our medicated embrace, so warm yet under the weather, lost in the hands of the clocks, lost in the daunting withdrawal from the pills, then lost back into the numb mediating effects of the return. It's a dog-eat-dog world and I'm a fox caught in a trap. I can look right and pretty, but I got a big fucking chip on my shoulder. A snare around my foot. A bone to pick with the fruitless gods who swallow the grapes and drink the wine of our youth as birds swirl around them in peace. I want to see no symbols of peace, yet I want no violence. I want a change in plans. I want to open the gates to the hollow kingdom of heaven and spit back the promises that were thrown at me. But I can't right now. We are rocking in the waves in our medicated embrace, beautifully unhappy under the foreboding clouds, the beauty being the only reason I don't reach up to the sky and drag down the heavens like a stained sheet onto the earth that they see in jest. One thing that you must know is that most dreams don't come true, so tear your fucking heart out and play the paper game like it's all you know how to do.
Wow.
Double applause, awesome. Thank you very much. And it's because I've got a newbie here, I have to be able to say this. If there's anybody that's actually interested in submitting things, well, yeah, I run a poetry open mic, but I originally started by and still publish literary magazines. Like this happens to be the current issue of CC&D magazine, founded in 1993, and the spin-off from it, Down in the Dirt, founded in 2000. Short poems, if there are 10 lines or fewer, and if they appear in here, they can appear in YouTube clips. Like if somebody happened to read something right here, that's usually what ends up happening. If you want to know more info about it, come and bug me. Email stuff is on a business card that I can give you or whatever. Now I'm swinging this thing around, which makes it sound like I'm doing some sort of strip show. But this little purple bag here is supposed to be something for you to collect your life savings and dump it into, because we've got a phenomenal feature from Mr. Dave Gecic. Yeah. Oh yeah, I gave him claps and all this stuff. So drop money into it, and I'm gonna pass it over, I'm gonna dive bomb it over toward you. Wow. I hope I got something. It fell into a crack or something you have to go surfing for or something. So everybody give and give freely. Give early, give often. I thought it was funny because I just heard the mayor on the radio saying, oh yeah, President Obama is coming in tomorrow for a couple hours to vote early. Like we always like to say in Chicago, vote early. Well, some of you might know another part of it, but I just say vote early. So I thought it was funny. I thought that was really funny just to hear that out of his mouth. So now I've got to see my list because I believe a great poet Carol had this sign-up sheet. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my note, Don, because I'm just being bossy and saying your name and your greatness at the same time. So as I had said, we had Al, which was, I should have known that you'd be next, darling. Because I haven't been singing lately, and I have no idea if he will be singing, but it's always a treat when he's here. And I think he's going to be signing up for a 2013 feature. And if anybody does not have a feature and they're interested, you can always go to the 2013 link at www.chaoticarts.org/thecafe and sign up for a feature, because we'd love to hear you, as we'd really love to hear Mr. Dan Cleary. Give it up for Dan! Yeah!
Okay, thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
As everybody knows, this is the 100th anniversary of Poetry magazine,
Yeah.
and I've written a little sonnet.
You have me hungry.
I find I usually read the prose before I read the poetry. Poetry, anyway. This is called Poetry, a magazine of verse. We nod, we sleep. No inspiration here to rouse or wake us from our lethargy. No animating word to raise a cheer or help us feel renewed with energy. Only the usual dry interchange of mind with academic mind. Little that has the limberness, the range in living poetry we expect to find. Where are the words that break beyond the page until they are once more conjoined with life? The words that have a kind of inbuilt rage, as if they held us hostage with a knife, or made it seem they meant something at least. Here much is merely literary toothpaste. And this is another poem critical of poetry in some ways. It's called In Defense of Rhyme. Inanimate or frozen life, primarily in painted form, much to the aging master's grief, has by the young been long forsworn. Indeed, just as you might expect, creative chaos rules the day. Artists today, to have effect, must chuck those disciplines away that would have you sit and stare for hours at sights unmoving and unmoved, a bowl of fruit, a vase of flowers, as if you gazed at the beloved. And slowly then, by hook or crook, just transcribe to canvas what you saw, taking it all in with a look that lasts until your eyes grow raw and you are not sure anymore just what it was you thought you'd seen, transforming apples extempore to gamboge, mauve or forest green. Today the whole thing's up for grabs. You jump in first at the deep end, and having made a few vain stabs at it, you latch on to a friend who will lead you to the shallow shoals where you can practice at your ease, refuting all the old art schools, doing whatever it is you please. And yet, did not the great Cézanne, when asked, say just what should be done, copy your stovepipe, if you can, he might have added. Learn to shun the easy answers. Stand before your motif with a humble heart. Start over again from nature. Go to the museum. Study art. The past is still a great resource, but don't be trapped there. Move ahead. Get up and mount a different horse, but keep in mind the mighty dead. In poetry, it's just the same. Nobody now wants to begin at the beginning. Who can name, for instance, the poets in the golden treasury of verse? Although it's somewhat now passé to say as much, we've gotten worse in such matters. A memory lapse, perhaps. Who can even recite one poem they personally admire from whatever period? Write a sonnet, set a verbal fire. We've fallen into a kind of prose recitative, as dull as toothpaste. Poetry should be like a rose or like a puree we can taste with our minds. Listen to me now. The fire is on me. The blood is up. Set sail with a determined prow, but don't forget to bring a map. In summing up, let me say this. It's easy now for us now to scorn rhyming and rhymers, quite dismiss what springs anew is freshly born. I grant you it can get too much and often weighs upon the ear, but please consider such and such is not encountered every year. More often reams of rhymeless junk besiege us daily left and right, for which we well might have to thank the notion anyone can write. Of course there's more to it than that. Rhyming alone is not enough. What do we look for? Fierce, eclat, a gift for running in the buff, or as the Duke expressed it once, without which it can't mean a thing. If you would partake of romance, our stuff should have a certain swing.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, can I finish with a song?
Yes, you can, of course.
You know, Duke Ellington said, it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. All right, let's see. Maybe an Irish song, you know? Yeah. There's a spot in my heart that no Colleen may own. There's a depth in my soul never sounded or known. There's a place in my memory, my heart that you fill. No other can take it, no one ever will. Sure I loved a dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn for me. Oh, God bless you and keep you, Mother Maclean.
Beautiful as always, Dan.
You know,
I don't try to ask them to do that. It's just that everybody just wants to hear me sing too, and it just comes out awesome. Thank you very much. Before I had called up my next, I know he's going to have to stay there for a while, but I wanted to be able to actually read some things from these few magazines. Yeah, have a seat. Yeah, rest for a good angel. Poor guy. Oh, I feel bad. These guys kind of crutches on like, what am I going to do? What I was going to start with, what am I going to start with? I'm going to have, I thought this would be vaguely appropriate, I don't know why, from Dawn of the Dirt magazine. Very short piece. This is by Denny E. Marshall, and this is called The Pork Belt. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O-W-E. And on this farm he had a pig, no marks on his ear, E-I-E-I-O-W-E. Even though he had thousands of them, Washington, D.C. texted him, said, "We got more pork than you. E-I-E-I, we all owe." Thank you, Denny. I thought something fun, and then I'm going to veer off. I'm just changing subjects like mad. This is a poem from Harlan Richards called What Prison Teaches. I don't trust anybody who is nice to me. People aren't nice unless they want something from you you don't want to give them. The most adept predators know that. Velvet gloves over steel fist often gets the best result. Truth in life. Thank you. And thank you, Harlan. And I wanted to put in, and there are a few pieces in here, and some of you may have heard pieces by this person before, but I read this one, and I'm going to read this one for you now. It's called Americans by Joseph Hart. Americans want nothing except sex, the 7-second substitute for God, and rap and drugs and violence and Jesus. The middle-aged and old have no tattoos. The young have no allegiance and no art, all of which is none of my affair, providing it has no effect on me. I want only poetry and cash. Poetry, a substitute for life. Money, necessary happiness. Dead, give me an isolated cloud where no one comes. Some paper and a pen. Thank you, Joseph. As I said, if you happen to have really, really short pieces, and you're not here for me to record you to read them, I might read them for you and put them up online. Luis, my darling, this poor man, goodness, this crutches, where's my guy? Please give it up for the love of my life. Oh, you poor angel, I'll carry you up here. Give it up for Luis, come on up here, yes!
Yeah, I got to learn to stand up again. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
That was beautiful, by the way. Okay, so I'd like to start off first with this poem here. It's titled Anotado al Lector, which means a note to the reader, basically. Right? Because I had this in mind. When somebody reads this is what I'd like them to take away from it, I guess. Not take away, but receive it. I dedicate this collection as sacred writings, sacred recordings, inspirations from experiences here on earth. This place that we roam freely, calling our home. I thank all the persons who, in my life, forged the timely paths when I had to choose left or right, up or down, forward or back. And to those who helped me realize the middle road is the high road, is the low road as well. It is dedicated also to those who cannot speak, the silent majority, those who cannot speak because they know not of this world, to those who are weary-hearted and unprone to love. We all need an interpreter at times. We are on both sides. We were all unable to speak at one time. My role is recorder. You, the reader, are the interpreter. You are the body and mind of the art. Okay? And I believe we'll go with this one next. This one is titled X Changes, and this is because of, obviously, this is a big change that was in my life for a while. It forced me to sit down and be patient. Okay? I give you this, and you give me that. A trade is the way that we've lived our lives. And where do we stop to take a break? A place to serve ourselves and others in the currency of intention with love for the physical and the non. The horizon's vista is fashionably late, and yet here. And here is where you are, now and forever. if ever is ever for every endeavor, together we'll wither them weather of stormy hate and fear and rape. And may it be that you and I should be in peace and rest in hearts eternally. Okay, that's it. And this one is for the ladies. Actually, it's from my mom and her friends. Okay? This is called To the Dame, which is a lady. So many words to wrangle and rot. When thoughts come along, I reach for a song, and a melody starts to play. In my head are the ticks and talks, the clicks of the clock, as she's scripted with a devotional grace. The cuckoo sounds its song, just in time for me to long, adore the chime of the Bella Reina and her train. She sings a song so heartfelt that she melts me to the chair. When I sit and I write the thoughts of her time, stretching my arms just isn't enough to fully reach the meaning she's given me and my experience. Thanks, Dame, and thank you. And one more. This is there's a picture from like 1930, 20 something. I don't know, it's a black and white picture. It's a family of my mom, and they're sitting on the stoop, sort of like a Godfather type. All right? It's called Plans or Plots. A family on a stoop will group together like birds of a feather, no matter any weather, whether or not you may or may not, bluntly put, allow plans for a plot, for all of the elders that escape from our hole now exist in a realm of which you and I know, known as it may be, a traditional interpretation of weaponized fear, a custom of cause and effect, living a fear of affecting the lives of others. Then, one day, a child will watch as the plots of the dead are laid by the plans of the living. Instead, he chooses to believe a new reality, void of his creators, and ever present with them in memory and heart. Rest in peace. Thank you.
I'll walk the other way. That'll make things open it easier. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please give it up for these. Come on, yeah.
Double applause, awesome. So I read a little bit earlier because I just, it's usually a lot of men that are reading poetry, but if I was going to read something, even though it was the other people's stuff, I didn't want to be right next to another woman, so I want to say everybody should give a double plus scream out for our next open micer. Please give it up for Miss Janine Ravensloot. Janine, give it up there.
I know, I haven't been around. I don't get around much in
I just brought out a new book, Floating Worlds, and I'm going to do Notes at Low Tide. This was recently selected for a small press called Poetic License Press. Notes at Low Tide. 1. Here are the damaged ivory keys, the discordant black, white of it, all the gray shades in between, flat as sweat. The flushed and thrilling music dies, the dance is over. Yellow tablecloths are stained, smell like brine, spoiled oysters at midnight. Then, in the silence, tilting moon, white summer garden, 2. Have you grown tired of mourning for things that no longer exist? The beloved, after he is gone. The shape of an arm, the curve of a thigh that reminds you of him. Aren't you weary of it? What is desired is gone. The music has stopped. You could be happy here. A certain joy could creep in as in the staying hand of a maestro. No movement. Shadowed score. Quiet sound. You all remember Effie Mahopoulos, of course. Wonderful poet. I wrote this for her quite some time ago, and it was published by After Hours. It's called Obscura, for camera obscura. Wave, wait, wait, wave. Something comes, then goes. I feel it. A hand at the nape of the neck lets me go. Where was I held? Right here. A hair clasped in a closed locket, a landscape caught in the lens of a pinhole camera. Utterly still, I blur at the edges. Wait, wait. Words slip away, a whole world. What remains? A hair stain on a bedroom wall. I hate to, let me see, let's see if I can get something that's a little cheerier. Don't know if I can. We were talking about rhyming and form and so forth. Well, this is sort of a imperfect triolet. What was thought imperishable rots? Rots, like an antique kimono, my love. White, red, black, silk peonies drop. What was thought imperishable rots? A harbor bell clangs in hell, not my fault. And to think you once said, I'll never leave. What was thought imperishable rots? Rots, like an antique kimono, my love.
Please jump up there. So I will not be in the way of people getting off stage. Thank you very much, Janine. And I think I'm going to have to bring up Mr. Suave and Debonair himself. Please give it up for Mr. Tom Roby. Come on, Tom. I'm taking him away. Sorry.
No, I read.
Read a happy one, honey.
Tom, is that a new book?
Yes, that's a new book.
Read out loud my first book, which is Kuypers Circuit, and my second book, thanks to Dave, Shapeshifter, my third book, Pressure Points. So, okay, so you want a funny poem? All right, I'll start with my funny poem, which is from Shapeshifter. It's on the perils of performing poetry. And this is not a knock on the Cabaret, which manages to avoid these difficulties, but other unnamed venues. You all know who they are. I am reading poetry above sextuple syncopated Bulgarian rhythms from the bar radio, and when they get lucky they are in sync with my rhymes. I hurl my inebriated
meters at this drunken wedding party that takes the table next to the mic, and we both ignore the cacophony. I read poetry as a delayed broadcast of too loud side chat. A found poem, actually more interesting than my own, but how can they know when they leave before the end? Creatures of their own creation. I read in bars next to the L and drown it out when I have the better poetry. Remember Estelle's, Dave. I read and suffer the razzing critiques of hosts who shove me off the stage in mid-sentence because they think my prose has gone on too long, as we heard earlier. I read poetry above the fan, against the espresso machine, over the crashes of the empties, hurled to the trash by the barkeep at Weeds. I read poetry to the crickets in the graveyard, and they sing it back to me, polypoetically. I read poetry in the rain on Rush Street, then sell it for a song. I sing my song into the wow and wong of the mic, but the sweet spot is always on the other side. And when my thoughts run counterpoint to my lines, the audience can't hear them, even though they're the best part of the poem. I read poetry until dawn breaks so loud I can no longer hear myself read, and everybody sings so long. It's been good to know ya. I read in poetry wheels, matching the yin of the poets before me with the yang of those after. Or is it the other way around? I read over side chat of fellow poets, some of it critical of me. I read above their scribbles as they ignore me to focus on writing what they are about to read. I am reading poetry everywhere, and my only question is, who's listening? Thank you. All right, on a little more a little more serious note here. From Griever's Circuit, there's a tree with a view. Had you not stopped me, I would have missed the spring branches of this early evening tree, reaching out her tiers of white flowers, gardens pure as heaven, resting places fit for solitary poets, making the slow ascent to immortality, leaving squirrel and blackbird on limbs below, having traveled far from the ground, where lovers pass through the park and see only each other. There, each bard can rest, ink a few lines on the enhancements of ever higher views, leaving a poem framed with flowers, bonds between antecedent and successor poets, inspiring them to persist on that lonely spiral climb, the world receding into the distance, so they can focus all their talents on the point at the top, imagining how to step out with no hesitation into the chariot hidden in a passing white cloud that will slowly dissolve into the indigo evening. And I searched for us among the immortals, skimming down from the highest branches, but we were not there. And when I turned away into the dusk, I found you had circled the park and fed the lake ducks and were striding home to complete our horizontal journey by cooking dinner. Tree with a view. And finally, with small reference to Adam's earlier point, here's a fully justified rant. Bark! You're just a junkyard dog with a bad case of the fleas. All you do is scratch your fleas. All you do is scratch and bleed. All you do is lick your sores. All you do is whine your scabs. All you do is drive us nuts. Scratch, bleed, lick, whine, lick, bleed, scratch. Stop whimpering, ingrate. You got this big junkyard to chase round in, chasing rats, chasing rabbits, chasing crows. You got a nice rabbit stew in your bowl. You got a nice wrecked Rolls Royce back seat to sleep and slobber in. Think you know misery? I'll show you misery right outside your barbed wire fence. Nice condo, upper floor you can't piss in. Gotta wait till someone comes home with a leash for your walk. Puts on the collar, puts on the chain, pulls you this way, pulls you that way, pulls you the other way. Don't want to wait? Go pee on the rug. Then you're in the doghouse. in your very own doghouse with a 3-foot chain. Something to whimper about now. Joe Rorty with a 3-foot chain and a muzzle so you can pull on the chain. Pull on the chain. Pee on the rug. Pull on the chain. No rabbit stew, no squirrel ragout. Gnaw on a bone. Scrape on your belly for scraps. Gnaw on a bone. Hey, don't like it? Dig under the fence. Crawl out. Find a bitch. Join a pack. No strays here, just big dog. Biggest dog on the block. Watch your back. Get the bitch to watch your back. Hide your hot spots. Any pup in the way, fix him good. Gnaw his bones. Wind up in the pound. Caged in the dog pound. Whimper in the dog pound. They'll fix your mane. They'll put you out of your misery. Quick, real quick. How do you feel about your junkyard now?
This reading's going to the dogs.
I feel like I have to be quicker here because I've got, I believe, at least 4 more people that are up to the open mic, and I want to give lots of room for a phenomenal feature, Mr. Dave Gecic. Give it up for Dave. Oh, yeah. And you know, we're all thinking we have to do Happy Pieces, but I have no idea if he's going to do that in his feature or not. But, you know, this is what we're trying to do anyway. And if anybody hasn't seen this, I'm going to come around like a vulture and bug you. The next person up on the block, oh gosh, no. Oh, I think I told her time was up, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Miss Virginia Hunt. Come on up here. Because we have to watch for time, we should keep it to 5 minutes or 3 pieces if they're short.
Thanks. Yeah, I was feeling crap yesterday. Anywho, first piece is called Remembering. It's a short piece about living in the present day. I am free. Done remembering just about every moment that I can argue successfully a painful memory from my painful past. I sit on a train, the CTA one of course, on the red line going somewhere from work before I head home. And I just think to myself, and constantly remind myself too, that I'm beyond grateful to be alive, that I should be happy. So on that, I smile my absolute brightest at life, thinking it so for my life. For it is my life which I sometimes forget that I'm here on earth for a reason. Which one that is, I don't know, is the true reason. But it is something I fully accept with all of me. The very best of me and the very fucked up worst part of me too. If anything, I only think of the joy that my present life is bringing about my way. Thank you. Now, 2 short pieces, and they're both recent. Let me just flip it. Okay, this one's called Fairy Tales about, like, don't think of your life as, like, something all grand. It's about life's expectations. Closing one book before drowning in gasoline so I could set it on fire. All because what I thought was real only let me down again for the umpteenth time due to some crazy circumstance I know of right away, and am so very easily able to tell and take action for, or something so sudden to me, beyond unexpected, to where I just sit and cry. Then all of a sudden, the idea of life being a fairy tale is beyond the word ludicrous, because my life never was anywhere near a story in a book, as I had to work to the bone, through my skin and blood, break many a sweat and cry a fucking planet, as my life and world was full of hurt, pain, and way too many reality checks in this life I've truly lived. To the point where the book of fairy tales must be burned to the fucking ground, into ashes of all the memories to be lost forever. Because real life is a true far cry from a fairy tale. Thank you. Thanks. This last one I just wrote a few minutes ago, literally. It's called Bloodlines. It's all ancestry related craziness. Losing memories of who I really am. My ancestry. A truly tone unknown. I don't know where I come from. Who came to this land before me? Several years, several centuries, and even generations ago. Before I showed up in this world as a real who knows what, and how did she show her face, as well as where did she ever come from? The same questions being asked every single moment of every single day of the week. So now, I have a lot of work to find out the roots of my real bloodlines, also known as my actual and proper ancestry, the people who's here first. If anything, I know that I must at least try to find the real roots of me, of where I came from, in both demographics and the people around me in every way. And even ever improperly known to man. So I can find out who I am now. Thank you.
Glad you're feeling better, and it's no problem at all if you read something that you just wrote, because some people do that, and that's totally fine. In fact, John just read that thing about a third party candidate thing, which is totally perfect to be able to pull off, so more than welcome to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't heard from my handy dandy ultra lovable trusted sidekick, so please, Bob, sir, get on up and give it up for Bob Rasco!
Do you know if you'll be able to read it next week? I know it's not a big...
Yeah, I'm gonna be here.
Yay!
I'm gonna be here. Don't miss it.
And there's the
What
open
else?
mic.
What else you got to hear? West High and the lovely and tremendous Brian O'Hearn in the same night.
Well, the thing is that the open mic normally is 7 to 9, but since we have to end at 8:30, they schedule it at 6:30 to 8:30. So the earlier you can get here, the better. So come on by.
Is that Carol Anderson?
Yes, it
It's
is.
so good to see you. It's been too long. Are you reading?
Yes, she
Good.
is.
All right, and Dan, I'm taking you and Cezanne under advisement. And enough said about that. And my feature is July 17th. Mark it down.
July next year?
Yes. Yes. So mark it down right now. All right. These are two from Chicago calling in collaboration with Tony Renner of St. Louis. For John Cage, 90. Capture a universe of zeros and ones. Must be some fun. Live for the moment, not just any moment, a specific moment, a trapped moment, a moment in sound. Schoenberg blushes. He suffers a stroke. Oh, lucky guy am I found a piece of the maze. To have the chance to know a tone, to toe the line just one last time. And this is also in collaboration with Tony Renner and his wonderful artwork. This is Model 2. He stands waiting for a picture, The picture is already there, and unaware that his hand is outstretched in welcome of plaster matter. It matters little to him. The picture, however, is concerned, for the setting needs more programs. The programs thirst for abstraction, and abstraction demands attendance. Visiting hours are Saturdays and Sundays. All classes are booked, but I will book a personal ticket and wander the lonely street of struggle and search. Thank you.
I'm very happy that he'll be here next week. Who's my fellow guy? I write that. Sorry. Monsters, there he goes. Yes. And I'm very pleased because he's like, I don't know if I'll be able to make it on Halloween. And I'm like, I'm going to have a costume. And for the Halloween thing, and she's already coming up here, for the Halloween thing, we're going to have voice modeling things so you can use a screwy voice if you want to sound more like a crazy man or a crazy woman.
Can we wear a mask?
You can wear whatever you darn well, but please, this thing is
You can wear that.
good thing I just caught that, holy cow. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we never hear this, she never comes by this way. I'm honored that she's here. Please give it up for Miss Carol Anderson. Yay! There's gotta be one. One that I can see. It's not. Yeah, they've got a whole storage.
Move the mic down, move the mic down.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure. I don't like that.
I can't see what I'm doing.
All right. I was going to read something happy, just because everybody was asking for happy earlier, and now I can't find one.
So who needs happy?
So who needs happy is right. All right. I'm just going to read this one. They are coming home now. They are coming home now, quietly, in planes, without fanfare, without the brass bands, the ticker tape, the confetti, the flags. They are coming home with their wounds, visible some, their bodies held straight from the twists of war, only by the cast splints, braces of the doctors, the medics. They're missing pieces not yet reshaped with prostheses, the missing minds not yet healed, the burning, ravaged skin taut and shining in the light. They are coming home, some with wounds invisible, even to themselves. They find them later in their screaming nightmares, in their sudden shakes and jumps at sudden noises. Their suicide thoughts or attempts, or lazing around and doing nothing, because it seems the world isn't worth trying for. They are coming home now, some who are whole. Thank God they are whole. Though they quiver inside with guilt that it's so. They know too well the many arriving in the flag-draped coffins. For each of those was and is a brother or sister of theirs. And they question why they themselves are whole, while their buddies' bodies will be interred, or they are in pieces, with their minds gone. They are coming home now. Welcome them. Love them. Be prepared to live with their hell. So we got happy, which I hate. Sorry, I just like this poem. Everywhere I go, I find that somehow I am free. For where I am, there also are both myself and me. I begin writing, suddenly I find me as striking the keys. Myself is saying, drop that word. She's extremely hard to please. And chopping me on solid work. but I am after Flair and Dash. And we both get hit with great letdowns because myself won't part with the cash. Food presents another problem for I truly love to eat. The me is always dieting and myself wants only what's sweet. So I cook great feasts just for I. But me myself eat and say delicious. And half an hour later they can't be found and it's time for washing the dishes. Me is a fraidy cat and shy and myself jumps into any fray. Sitting and watching conservative eye works on serenely through the day. And now I'm done. Not even sure of who is writing this. For see, I thought it was I until myself announced that it was me.
And make sure I wasn't in her way. Turn around like a swan. No, like a pterodactyl probably is better for me. Ladies and gentlemen, just so everybody knows, after this open mic, we're going straight onto the feature. So,
Yeah, I'm getting antsy.
aren't we all? But because I really want to hear. But in the meantime, we really double plus want to hear Mr. Vittorio Carli. Give it up for Vito. Come on out there.
I'm getting antsy, so I want to get going.
Lady Gaga, Charles Mingus, Martin Buber, and I and Thou went to the White Hen, but there were no eggs underneath. And I said, "What's up, Aries?" Then the Indian clerk, whose name I sometimes forget, meeny, meeny, miny, mo, allowed us to take extra donuts without paying, while an Xmas song by James Blunt, Black Cotton Ulmer was playing by chance. I went out into the Edenic spring, Edenic rain, first of the... That's a funny idea.
Get going!
And my body radiated with delights. And it's good to live in a country where you can brush your teeth without fear of reprisal or retribution. Thank you. This is a poem in keeping with the Halloween spirit. On the day they finished the house's construction, cars crashed, robins flew into trees, clocks stopped, and sheep began to eat each other. The Bermuda Triangle, Hell House, Castle Dracula, and Bathory's Mansion are just pale imitations. It was built on Indian burial ground, and Druids used to use it for human sacrifice. It makes crosses burn and Stars of David explode. It inspired Rambo's most famous book and several of Dante's most well-known circles. It's a less sane version of the Mace Hotel, and it helped repel the first Body Snatchers invasion. It's a black hole that constantly sucks out all positive energy and possibility of delight. It's where banksters, corporate lawyers, and opposers of affordable health care go after they die. It's where Pickman's model retired after posing. The Necronomicon was writ there in human blood. It's a suburb of Hades that's less hospitable than its parent city. If you tried to burn it, it would probably grow back in a more hideous form, like a slimy plant at the bottom of the swamp. If you destroyed it, the roof would probably grow 7 more. It's a magnet for misfortune and a lightning rod for misery. Staying out of the house should be everyone's permanent New Year's resolution. The suburbs are only slightly better. That's called Rant on Why I Won't Go to My Friend's House. Thank you.
Thank you. I was very afraid at first when I saw Dave Gecic pacing in the background. I'm like, why is he pacing? And so he dumps water on him and then he just comes back and paces again. And I'm like, what's going on with that? Hi, I kind of, by the way, I should write my hand along that, my face along it might get a little damp from the water. So good work, feature. You know. I'm feeling a little dry. I'm lifting myself off on that. I don't know. I was going to read one poem before the open mic because I thought it was everybody saying do something funny, and I actually wanted to have this, and I have this as a notice. Like I saw people having the bumper stickers that says "I closed the blue note," and I'm like, I did that. I wrote a poem about it actually, and this is it. So I wanted to share this one with you, and it is called Precinct 14. No, please don't get me down.
Please don't dump water on my head, is all I ask. But it's just fine, go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, that's a little much. Behave, exactly. But it was entertaining, thank you, darling. This is precinct 14. It was a long night for us, starting at your apartment with your roommates, co-workers, coming over and making margaritas until 2 in the morning. But of course, we then decided that the best thing would be to go out. So off to the Blue Note we went, found some interesting people to talk to, closed the bar. I think that was the first time I ever did that. Closed a late night bar, I mean. And at 4:30 you drove me home down Milwaukee Avenue. And I know it angles. And I know you can see the traffic lights for oncoming traffic as easily as you can see your own light. But I'm sure that the light was green and not red like the cops said when they pulled you over. You could have been in so much trouble that night. No insurance, no city registration sticker, a Michigan driver's license when you'd lived in Illinois for over a year, and a cracked windshield, running a red light, probably intoxicated. So they brought us to the station at 5 a.m. And all they did was write you a ticket. And they gave me a business card, said that if we had any problems, to give them a call. You drove me home, and the cops met us there, hitting on me again. And although we both agreed that was a lot of fun, that whole night, even with the involvement of the 14th precinct, I still believe that damn light wasn't even red. Thank you. Thank you. Now I have to come up with an introduction, and I haven't even had any time to think of doing it. This man runs Pudd'nhead Press. He has published, I don't know how many people other than me, but a ton, and it's double plus awesome, including people I can't even see. I know Tom Roby's there. I think that's you. Yeah, he waves. I'm like, I knew he's got a lot. And he is, and Carol. And I know that he also published a book from a woman who is the feature in the end of January. What's her name?
Maureen Flannery?
No, Swanberg was
Christine Swanberg. She's in December.
She is in December 19th, I believe, or something like that. I'm trying to remember. But he is Mr. Published Master, and he also ran a lot of cool things like the Trunk Fest things in Evanston, which were double plus awesome to go to. And this man really is an entertaining bastard. He really is. I shouldn't have sworn, because he's really an awesome guy.
Call me a bastard.
No, he's double plus awesome, because I'm already coming up with plans to be able to see him and hang out with him. Everybody here knows it. He's a phenomenal performer. He is phenomenal work. I'm really looking forward to this feature. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Dave Gecic.
I didn't wash you out like Vito, though.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, Vito, I was just trying to get you moving along.
I was afraid you were going to shut up.
Revenge of the feature.
And Vito, this is you dropped your egg on the stage.
Are you ready? Give it to me later.
What? Okay, here.
Incoming!
Somebody jump on it.
Kingpin!
I'm going to start with a couple covers, which is something I normally don't do, but I felt like it today. This is by E. Cummings. I like my body when it's with your body. It is so quite new a thing. Muscles better and nerves more. I like your body. I like what it does. I like its hows. I like to feel the spine of your body and its bones and the trembling firm smoothness, and which I will again and again and again kiss. I like kissing this and that of you. I like slowly stroking the shocking fuzz of your electric fur, and when it comes over parting flesh and eyes, big love crumbs. And possibly I like the thrill of under me you so quite new. By E. Cummings. I take credit for writing that well. But this is a guy who I always miss, and
He was a great poet, Mr. John Dixon. And we can never get enough of his stuff. And I know Tom Roby likes this poem a lot. It's called Excavation. If they dig us out of lava, will I, guitar in hand, be discovered standing on a tree stump beneath their window, singing some bawdy serenade, and you, draped over the windowsill above, still giggling and tossing a rose through the fresh evening lava, much to the disgust of the scandalized neighbors, not as yet dug up. Or will I, if they ever dig us out of lava, be discovered standing guitar in hand on the tree stump beneath your window, singing some bawdy serenade in the fresh evening lava, while you, fearful of what the neighbors, not as yet dug up, might think, are discovered sulking in an easy chair somewhere in the house, hiding from the window, a wilted rose in your lap, a dull dead dream in your eye, and a tear on your cheek that looks like amber. Or, if they ever dig us out of lava, will all they find be a tree stump in your yard, and you asleep with the window locked, and a guitar full of lava in the closet somewhere on the other side of town, and me in the kitchen of another house drinking a stein of lava to forget, content with the thought that the neighbors, not as yet dug up, may sleep on peacefully and undisturbed. That was John Dixon. I miss John Dixon.
We all do.
Yeah.
We need to have a John Dixon memorial reading again. This is by Thomas McGrath. It's called A Long Way Outside Yellowstone. Cheyenne, Wyoming, 1940. Across the tracks in Cheyenne, behind the biggest billboard, are a couple of human beings who aren't in for the rodeo. A week out of Sacramento, Jack, who was once a choir boy, and Judy, a jailbird's daughter, make love against the cold. He gets the night freight for Denver. She hitches out for Billings. And now, under one blanket, they go about their business. Suppose you go about yours. Their business is being human, and because they travel naked, they are 50 jumps ahead of you, and running with all their lights on while half the world is blacked out. Poverty of all but spirit turns up love like aces that weren't in the deck at all. Meanwhile, the cold is scattered like petals of flowers down from the mountains of exile and makes comradeship essential, though perhaps you choose not to believe it. That doesn't matter at all, for their hands touching deny you, becoming poor, blinded beggars, pilgrims on the way to heaven. Back in the park, at the best hotel, it is true, the mountains are higher, and the food oftener, and love as phony as a $9 bill. Though perhaps when the millionaire kisses the princess farewell, he's really going nowhere. She weeps attractively in the expensive dark, moving, oh delicately, among the broken hearts, perhaps haunted, wondering if hers are among them, or perhaps not.
Yeah, that was Thomas McGrath.
All right. Thomas McGrath has some really, really good poems, and he had like a unique format to his books. They were like shorter this way and longer that way, and his lines run really long. He's like the Jared Smith of 1940.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in this room has heard this extended version of this poem, and I'm going to do a little, add a little bit to it. It's the extended version of Remember the Crosses. In the desert southwest, they use small white crosses on the roadside to mark the spot of a tragic death, a traffic accident, a stray bullet, or someone who died of too much exposure, I'm sure driver education teachers in our memory scowl and point to the side of the road saying, remember the crosses. Here in the Midwest, we are less sentimental, aren't we? The holes in our guardrails are repaired nearly overnight. Or so I thought so. But lately, the guardrails around us seem to have holes in them. There's an old woman at the Cactus Bar and Grill. She inhales deeply on her schnapps. I have sat next to her in the next stool. I have drunk with her. I have shared her life. And her life is lonely and sad. She picks up her purse, slinging it on her shoulder like it was a cross of Jesus Christ. I carry a wallet. Sometimes it seems the only identity I could have dwells there. Like the cross of Jesus Christ, she carries her purse and walks stiff-legged to the door. Her life is so tragic that little white crosses appear everywhere she goes, and they spring up like needles on the floor that we paste together at night. There is so much misery that the very earth of the desert moans. Have you ever woken up to find the desert sitting outside your window? So quiet, so barren, so alone. There is an emptiness. There is an emptiness. There is a resonance on every roadside, at every crossroads, every choice. And that sends a signal across the rest of the nation which reminds us to remember the crosses, making the crosses appear throughout the land, like mushrooms on your lawn. They weren't there yesterday. They're there today. There was a tree outside my house as a child. It was an elm tree. It was the first tree I knew. Here was an elm. That makes that a maple, that an oak, that a catalpa tree. When it died, the city took it away. Each year, I was reminded of it by a little white circle of mushrooms called a fairy circle, where the fairies dance in the ring at night. Year by year, nature's magic miracle to my childhood tree became smaller and smaller, more of a faded memory. Where there is a hint of tragedy, a white cross springs from the earth. I remember walking through Arlington National Cemetery. You could get lost. I did not see the graves of fallen veterans. I saw 1,000, 1,000,000 tiny tragedies and 1,000,000 life. Arlington National Cemetery had gone mad. You see, everywhere shoulders are stooping under the weight of the crosses they bear, and I'm surrounded by a sea of many crosses, the names, dates, places. They are all familiar to me. And when you finally can read the writing on the crosses around you, it is one thing. But when you begin to understand what is really written there, it's quite another thing. I look around and see people who worship or who have laid down their crosses as if they were personal religious icons or some sacred lover. They have given up. They have put down their crosses. They have given up walking up that hill, so they become crucified where they are. I have raised final crosses over fallen comrades, fellow poets, and released their crosses with trembling hands, wondering if their memory can stand on its own. The poet is dead, and everyone turns to me and asks, what are we to do now? I etch another line in my cross. Jesus had only one word on his cross. It was a big, powerful word. Actually, it was one of those abbreviation kind of things. But anyways, I have 1,000 little tiny lines etched in my cross. But those 1,000 little tiny lines do add up to a sum of something. Echoing in my head, there is one phrase, remember the crosses. Although I close my eyes and ears and try to deny all the tragedy in my life, I hear, remember the crosses. And before me, and a more distinct cross appears with my name and birth written on it, waiting for me. I can sometimes read the lines on the cross. 1969, the death of my grandfather. I never knew he could play the piano. 1972, my grandmother died. I never learned her language. never could say I love you in any way she could ever understand. 1979, I really thought she loved me. I want to run the way. I want to make this magical vision that allows me to see the pain and suffering in my life fade away. My life was never ruled by tragedy before. It's not the big things. You run your hands over the big things and they become smoothed out. It's the little things, the things you don't understand. You run your hand across them like they were Braille. You try to understand and read them, and your fingers come away bleeding. And I really thought she loved me. You see, every day there are little tragedies that drive us, that drive against us, and they pound at us and become embedded in our lives. And then we spend all night trying to pry those little tragedies out of our lives, and we never could. I've always wanted to make someplace where people could come and hang their crosses at the door. A place where sadness and tragedy, where my sadness and my tragedy cannot penetrate. But this is something I have learned that I cannot really do. For I was born here in the Midwest. And in the Midwest, I have learned I must be less sentimental. Yeah. Anyways, I wrote most of that a while ago. I hardly ever perform it. People sometimes yell at me when I perform it. You're in the poem. There's a lot of like scary places out in Cicero and Berwyn and Riverside. Carol, did I ever take you to the clown cemetery?
No, but I've gone there.
You've gone to the clown cemetery? There was a train crash in like 1934, I think it was, and the circus train crashed, and all the clowns died, and all the elephants died. And they took the clowns and the elephants and they buried them in the cemetery. And sometimes, late at night, you could hear the trumpeting of the elephants in the distance, like that carriage that just went by. But this is about something else.
Where is the cemetery?
Woodlawn Cemetery, I think it is, right at the corner of Harlem and Cermak. Actually, Cermak and First Avenue. It's there's also the Druids that led the Bughouse Square funeral. They were marching in the front of the funeral when they had the funeral. They're all buried there, and it's a really eerie thing with their 10 gravestones all in a circle. And it's a scary place. And sometimes you can find a bleeding stop sign. If you drive through Riverside, there's a stop sign that somebody's head was put on one time and the blood drips down at night.
There's resurrection.
But this is, no, it's far away from resurrection. This is about Cermak Pond. The guy fell over and broke through the ice in the pond one day. They called the police and they brought divers suited up and jumped into the hole the guy fell into. They broke up the ice around it with an axe handle to find the guy. They couldn't find him, but they broke up the ice enough that the divers got in there with safety lines and looked around the pond, and they never found him. The guy disappeared through the ice. They never found him. He's still somewhere in that retention pond in that park. They looked all over the next spring. Everybody looked around the shore in the shallow water, but they couldn't find him. He haunts the retention pond. He's still down there. He reaches out his icy fingers during the winter, and you can hear him pounding on the ice. Bang, 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 bang. You can hear him pounding on the ice, trying to get out, just like he must have done that night when he died. Bang, 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 bang. No one knew who he was, but they see him sometimes when they're out there ice fishing. They look down in the water and see his face down there through the bubbles, looking up through the holes. No one fishes there anymore. Ogden and Des Plaines Avenue
No,
about.
I'm not going fishing.
Want to go? Yeah, we can
I
go.
don't care what you say.
No, let's go. Let's go. We can do it.
We can do it.
We can do it. We'll bring Janet. Janet, can you swim?
I'd like to be under the sea. What? Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We need a victim who can't swim. J.J. Jameson, I don't think he could swim.
I can make a jump not swimming for my palm under the sea if only
He's in
I could
enough
swim,
deep
but-
water already.
He's in really deep water. Always has been. No, I went up to Wisconsin one time with JJ, and we're going to meet some friends of ours on an island. So I said, okay, JJ, get in this canoe. And I put JJ in the back of the canoe, and I jump in the front of the canoe and push away from the dock. And I start paddling, and I look around, and JJ's ramrod straight. And I'm like, what's wrong, JJ? I don't like boats. I don't think he was ever in a boat. I need something to distract me from you. A world war or the apocalypse. Some kind of natural disaster or tsunami. Rising out of Lake Michigan, washing everything away. A city on fire. I need some kind of natural disaster to get you off my mind. I want to set fire to this city. I can handle ashes a lot better than I can handle this. All the places, all the memories of you erased at once. I need some kind of natural disaster to get you off my mind. Stop! Freeze! We can die now. Me, cherubic, standing on unseen worlds, you with an impish gleam, basking in glow of suns unseen. I know that it gets better than this, but I choose to cherish this moment. It's a still life, something to cling to when things are different between you and I. It's a feeling, it's a mood, it's a gesture, something we could cling to when it's different. You and I etched, frozen in time. Stop, freeze. We could die now. I had an old girlfriend die on Friday. This is about somebody else's death. It was on the Mississippi one summer. It's called Burial. The girl had asked us to scatter her husband's ashes on the Mississippi River at his favorite fishing spot. I hold your remains between my fingers, poised above the water. I try not to feel you. You become grit between my fingers. I let you go. You remain on my fingers. I could feel your grittiness. I thought I could simply brush you off, but you remain. What is a proper etiquette now? Is there some deeper meaning, or is it simply the humidity? The ghosts on the banks of the Mississippi are haunted now. The widow kills her own spiders, sleep with the blanket up top her nose, listening to noises in the night. I scrubbed my hands last night, wondering about what lies beneath my fingernails. When he looked at the wall of his life, he found a hole in the honored place and searched for a peg to fill it. He found one that would not fit quite right, but he thought that he could wear it down the edges with love to make it a perfect fit. Meanwhile, off to the side in my wall was an empty hole with a perfect shape. The fields that we once walked are dead and dying. No one cares for them anymore. They are brown and brittle. I keep grasping at love straws, pulling up handfuls of what remains. But what remains does not provide any nourishment for anything. And she sits in the house and says, "Are you cold?" Looking from her window, holding a sweater as I sit in the dying garden, my lost love. "Are you cold?" she says. "No," I say. "I feel nothing. You are the cold one." But, anyways, I've been in a weird mood lately just because everything's going on. But there are always sparks of hope in your life. There are no pearls without grit. I could not love you without your grit. I would see no beauty in you without the irritation you give me. I cut out little pieces of my heart as bait, and I cast them out over the water and watch as the little tiny fishes come up and eat the pieces of my heart. There are parts they will not eat. These, I think, must be the bad parts, the only parts that are left. I scoop them up, gather them together, deposit them back in my chest. Do you know how hard it is to fix the broken hearts? Do you know how hard it is to get rid of those little parts? Little tiny fishes will not eat them. And the broken heart tends to grow back and resume the shape of a normal heart. But if you take it out and cut it up again and sprinkle it as an offering to the little fishes, then you retrieve it again and again and again. Eventually, there will be no parts left that you had. What do you think of the election? I put the seed on the tabletop and I scream, "Grow! Grow!" But there is no soil here. The plant cannot grow because there is no soil here. Where is our soil? Where is the fertile ground where what waters us? Where is our sunlight that nurtures us? We can't expect a seed to grow on a tabletop. How do we expect ourselves to grow? We are expected to flourish in an environment that does not provide what we need. And the only thing that will let it grow is common ground. And there seems to be no common ground between any of us. And the seed sits there on the tabletop. I pin you down in a photograph album. I know that you will fade over time, but I know I can find you there frozen. I have only taken happy memories. I arrange them how I want on the page, opposite what picture I want. I suppose I could paint a classic tale of intrigue. I suppose I could paint a romantic mystery or thriller. But just to pin you down is quite an accomplishment. Sorry for bird stepping all around here. Here's a poem that I wrote a couple of years ago. It's one of my weirder poems. She would always cry on Christmas and wrap her fist around the light bulbs on the tree, knowing that the hurt they caused was nothing compared to the hurt her family would give her that day. She always cried on Christmas, and for the rest of the year, she would step on the small needles hidden in the carpet, wondering if the pain would ever go away. She always cried on Christmas until the winter her daddy died beneath the snow shovel's grip. The neighbor noticing the gloves sticking on the pile of freshly fallen snow. Hours later, and then, little by little, she went to the tree and loosened the bulbs, feeling their pain slowly go away as they grew dimmer and dimmer.
Okay. One more.
Well, we're after 9.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
No,
I didn't mean to go
you did
over.
no, bless us, but oh my God, this is awesome hearing everything we have.
This is a 20-minute series of poems. Okay, 2 short poems. Okay, Janet?
Yes.
I can feel you now, the slight caress on my ankles, tiny fingers. You can let things wash over you sometimes, but the undertow calling you forward is usually stronger, and it draws me in your direction. I could drown in your ocean, linger in the chambers of the sea. I shall name this place Omaha Beach. I shall not wear my trousers rolled. I will walk along your beach and eat a peach. I have heard the mermaids singing, and I think they will sing for me. And with a simple word from you, I will drown. My little angel mermaid, you have come to ground. And I no longer hear you call from your ocean. You sing in my backyard. Perhaps I will not be a pair of ragged claws. Perhaps these hands were meant for something more than that. Thank you.
You're gonna get on the stage, Dave. One more to get up here, Mr. Man. I don't think I was loud enough, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Janet. Who's featured next time? Oh, no, you have to go to your Christmas show?
Oh, well.
I want to get Tom Roby and Janine in a show I'm doing December 21st.
Oh, well, so, oh my gosh, somebody after so yes, hold on.
Tom and Janine, you want to be in a show December 21st about, whatchamacallit? Okay, great. We're all going to take the reindeer. Take a reindeer.
We'll bring our horns.
You're always hard.
What is that show about? Is that something people should know of? December 21st?
Yes, I'll tell you about it.
All right, well, you're going to have to come bug me or bug Dave. You got to check if you have the details. Thank you very much, Dave. That was so double plus awesome. Triple plus awesome. No, yeah, exactly. This man deserved it. All right, once more, play that. Once more, yeah. Everybody's a smatter, yeah.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
I want to tell everybody that we happen to have a bonus week next week. Yes, on Halloween, on Hallows Eve. If you go to the Ladies of Rashomon, you happen to see a billboard there that was for the Cousin Bones feature before the show that's going on starting at 9:30 tonight, because they've got a lot of stuff going on at 9:30 next week on Halloween. We've got a show next week from 6:30 to 8:30. Not 7 to 9, because we got to set everything up for the 16-piece band that they're going to have here. So come by 6:30 to 8:30, dress in costume. I'm going to have a voice modulator, so you can use a crazy-ass voice, masks, whatever you want. That's double plus awesome, because I'm going to do crazy stuff. And Cousin Bones, the feature that evening, is going to do some really crazy stuff, I'm sure, because he's going all cabaret. We're here at Gallery Cabaret. After that, actually, we have to get to November 7th, then, because he was one of the early features. We've got Patrick Hurley as the feature on November 7th, and then November 21st, which is the day before Thanksgiving, we're actually writing a feature of me, because who's going to be here on Halloween. But if you want to hear anything about the periodic table of poetry, come by and bug me for it. And I won't tell you about December, because I've got people that are here for the singer-songwriter night. Thank you so very much. Bug me if you need anything. Gallery Cabaret and Gallery Center / Cafe for this open mic, and thank you.